Hey everybody, this is Tim. Just wanted to do a brief video on how to do the daily observations. It's going to be a mix of looking for problems, and then if you're, especially you're doing something like a trial or a project, you're looking for really kind of neat, interesting things. So if you're just looking for problems, something like this that you see here should only take you about 5 minutes to be able to kind of just check everything. Now, if you find an issue, then it may take you a little bit longer because you have to start doing some thinking and or removing or whatever the case may be. But even with just removing some lower leaves, it shouldn't take you more than, like I said, 5 to 10 minutes. If you look over all my plants here, you will see that there are some differences. Now, knowing your plants and knowing the types of plants you have and what to expect, it could help show that there isn't really a problem. So, for example, this plant that's right over there, it looks like there's something going on with it. It's got white or yellow leaves on it, but it's actually a variegated variety. Another one here, 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 and here are pale leaf or chartreuse. The leaves are going to show a little bit lighter. It's just part of the gene expression that they have in it. So I'm not only looking for problems, but I'm also looking to see whether or not plants are growing, whether I need to fertilize sooner, whether I need to back off on fertilizer. And you might not be able to tell by checking every single day, but as you're coming and having to move plants up through the strings, then you know that they're growing. When you have pulling leaves off of a tomato plant, sorry, it's a little messy, but that are about as long as your finger to elbow, you know that you're doing a pretty decent job. So, like I said, you're basically going to be coming out here every single day to look at it, because then you know your plants, and even though you're not seeing the incremental growth, you will notice if something goes bad. So I'll give you an example. Here is a tomato down here that had some leaves, and we had a lot of wind, we had things dropping, but those leaves aren't the leaves that I would expect, or the holes in the leaves that I would expect if something fell through them. I would suspect that there was some type of insect on it. And if we flip it over, there you go. So I'll go ahead and take this branch off, and I will make sure that, see, here's another leaf here. That's some damage. It looks like it was just that one. So, once you go ahead and remove that and take care of that, then you just want to kind of have an idea of, I'm going to come back to that plant a little bit later. Maybe there were some more eggs on it that I need to go ahead and remove. So like I said, you're going to go kind of through your plants and take leaves off that look damaged. This one has to do with some of the heat and water and everything else that was on the plastic bag. But and just take those types of leaves off and move past it. But the other things you want to look at is maybe, for example, here is one of these. Here's one of my projects. So an observation, I'm looking at this particular flower here, and it's definitely different than one I've seen. So same plant, and okay, this one looks very similar to that too, in the sense of the flower. And I might come over here to the other two and check those. Now, again, I'm just doing it now. I thought these were a little bit different, so I'm going to go ahead and just check. Those are closed. All right, and then last one over here. As you can see with the strings, I have to go up and down the rows. Okay, well, this one's interesting. It's almost like a, sorry, I got my little headphones right next to me. It's hard to focus in on it. Let's see if I can do it. It almost has a double bloom, which is different than the other ones, but it still has that large cone. There's other things that you see. For example, this particular variegated variety has done very well. Same variety right here hasn't done significantly well. Same thing as this one here and the one right over there. And I think the reason is I think it depends on how much variegation is actually in the plant that's actually causing them to either grow stronger and taller, and then having that lack of pigment and lack of chlorophyll probably prevents it from growing. And I think this is turning into a little bit longer video. But like, for example, here is one of my tomato projects. This is one I bred. This is the parent, or the mother plant, and I'm using this as a check to see whether or not the F2s, which is this, I bred this one with a dwarf, and from that I grew out the hybrid during the fall, and these are the seeds from the hybrid in the fall, the ones that I'm going to show you. This one is just a check so that I have something to kind of observe against. And so here's that same plant. This is progeny or an offspring of that particular plant. And the flowers right here for this one. And then let's check the flowers for the one it started with. And you can see there's a big difference. The pistil's a lot smaller. The flower structure is a little bit different. And the leaves don't necessarily have that droopy, trying to get it focused here, don't have that droopy thing that the other plants do. All right, let's see. There we go. Got to get focused again. Okay, but you can see here that the leaves don't have that same hairiness. They also aren't droopy. And this is just the normal behavior of that particular plant. Now, the one that I have that's closest to it is something like this. Anyways, the idea wasn't necessarily to show my project, but more of kind of the differences between the particular plants. Here's another one that's got a smooth leaf. But like I said, the idea, again, for people who are trying to take observations for trials and things like that, keep a journal with you, keep video, some of the things that you're finding, and for pests and bugs and things like that, just really give it a good observation, scanning the tops every single day and really focusing on the bottoms. The bottoms is where I find the insects. The bottoms is where I start seeing the disease start, because those are the mature leaves generally. And just kind of keep it clean, and I think that will help out with maintaining your plants. Anyways, one last thing. It also depends. You should also remember what time of day you're looking at the plants. So if you're looking at them at sundown, you're going to get a lot more of these oranges and yellow hues when light reflecting off of your plants. So it's going to give you like this, not necessarily the best example of, that the plant, it looks like the plant might need some fertilizer, or I'm going to start trimming leaves and pruning leaves during that twilight time. You have to remember that it does reflect off the light that's, the light that's hitting it. And so if you do have it, it's going to appear to be a little bit more yellow, and so you might start pruning off leaves that maybe you shouldn't. So just remember that when you're starting to look at it, or you're thinking about fertilizing, is what time am I looking at it? Other than that, that's all I can think of at this moment. And if I see anything else that I believe needs to be videoed, I will go ahead and do it. All right, thank you.